What's up, everybody? You got the car man, and guess what? Today is the day all your dreams are gonna come true. That is, however, if you want to learn how to put a lower control arm slash ball joint, because they're the same piece, in a 04 Sebring. If that's what your life aspiration is, I'm a dream weaver today, baby. So let's just make it happen. But first, let me give you a chance to subscribe if you haven't already. Second, follow me on Facebook. That's a quick, easy way to get in touch with the car man if you ever need me. Or, in a lot of y'all's cases, just want to give me crap, but I'll just go ahead and let that one slide. Alright, so what we're looking at here, here's the ball joint end of it. See, it's got the little castle nut, comes with a castle nut, okay. And a little hole dead center, that's going to be for the sway bar. That's a mount. That's a mount. So let's just see. And there should be one right here in the center, which is the where the pinch bolt for your strut goes in. Okay, so it seems easy enough. We have 5 fasteners, 1 lower control arm. So let me go through it. I've already taken mine loose, but it's been a while since I've done one, so I just want to go through the steps real quick to make sure that you did it in the right sequence. This so far, to get to the point where it's actually out, it's about 40 minutes. I haven't had any problems, so to say, but not saying some can arise when I go to put it back together. I'm going to go over the tools you need. I'm going to go over the size of the fasteners, and as you see, it comes with a control arm, ball joint with new castle nut, as well as who knows what that is. Did you say cotter pin? Good, 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 boys and girls. Alright, let me put you on hold. Let me get down here and take a look at this thing. Alright, kids, first things first. I guess the first thing we actually have is the ball joint. Now, we are not, by the way, sorry about the shakiness, but, you know, I'm kind of doing this upside down. Alright, so we see the bolt right here. This right here is just the guard for the brake, and it is separate from what we're actually dealing with. See this right here moving? I can move that away. Alright, on top of here, this is the first thing I want you to take out. The whole thing's just kind of coming out. But the first thing I want you to take off is the cotter pin, which will look something like this. It'll be like an old and beat up. And here's the old castle nut right here. And anyway, basically, there's a hole. See if I can actually get the hole. I think y'all get the point. I'm on it, I just don't know if it'll actually bring it into autofocus or not. There she is. So that castle bolt, that cotter pin goes right through that hole right there, and you just slide it out, and then you take the castle bolt off. Now, how I actually obtained that little particular function was I used a 21mm wrench and a little hammer just to tap it over once I got it loose, but that size is a 21mm. And once you do that, and she's sitting loose, I want you guys to get a little pickle fork, like this little guy, and run it up underneath between it, and push it, and just hammer it in until she separates. And she will separate, it'll just take a minute, and it separates from right up here. She ain't gonna hurt anything. The ball joint's destroyed, but who really cares, because your new one's on it anyway. Alright, moving on. So the next little guy we're going to run across is this little hole right here. And what that goes to, if we look up, we're going to see the shock. Little pinch bolt, and on this side that my trusty little finger is by, that's going to have a 15mm head. On the back side, it's going to be an 18mm bolt. Put a wrench on the back of that thing, and lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, take it right out. When you got it, this is going to be in there pretty tight, so when the bolt nut comes off, take a rubber hammer, mallet, just something that will not hurt the end of the threads, leave the nut on the very end of it, and start tapping it this way. When she finally gets out, put something blunt in there to push it all the way through, but we don't want to hurt the threads, guys, just remember that. Alright, that'll take care of fastener number 2. Now we're going to get to the center part right here, this little hole. And this is where your sway bar comes into play. Alright, I think I have it laying back here. It's way out of whack, but that's alright. Let's see if you can actually physically see it. I'm looking for it. Yeah, there she sits. Now, in the very end of that, it goes right through the hole I was just showing you, and there is an 18mm bolt which you will have to use an open-end wrench to take out. No problem. But in the very top of that bolt is a place to put a 6mm socket. And what I mean by that, it's a hex head. And it just goes right through the top. I'm going to actually show that to you real quick. Hang on. Okay guys, I'm getting a little crazy now. There it is. So the very end of that is a 6mm hex head. And basically you're going to put a socket in a 6mm socket, blah, and a ratchet so you can hold it. And you're going to spin this 18mm bolt off the end of this. And the reason we're going to do it that particular way is because this right here will spin indefinitely. It will not come off unless you use the 6mm. Incidentally, if you were going to take the joint off of the sway bar, on this side works exactly the same way. So 6mm, 6mm, but you don't have to touch that. Okay, so you've taken that off, and the next thing I want you to do is drop the sway bar. Okay, you see the sway bar right here? I've taken off 1, 2, and then on the other end, 3, 4. And if you can see, I left it fastened up at the top. It swings down with no problem. And what that does, guys, it just gets this out of your way. Alright? So you see me right here. This is bolt number 3. We now have the sway bar. I'm sorry, we got to add the sway bar bolts in there. So there's 4 of those. They're 15mm, lefty-loosey, same deal. And just lay the sway bar to the side. The sway bar is no big deal. It's not under tension or anything. But if you don't take it off of its mount right there, it's going to give you a firm tension. And you're going to see what I mean in a second about needing all the room you can get. Okay. Moving on along here. So let's see, was that the 3rd bolt? Alright, so now we're down to 5. Okay guys, throw in the 4 for the sway bar, don't be technical. Alright, so this bolt right here, no problem. This is an 18mm as well. Came off with no problem at all. By the way, get you some penetrant on this. Do all these bolts first. And that ought to help the situation out too. Meanwhile, 18mm lefty-loosey. Pretty much comes out easy, as you see. There it is. That's what she's going into on the other end of the fence. So it's in there nice and solid. I guess it's welded and I can't really see, but she's definitely in there and she's in there good. Alright, so that one comes out easy. And, incidentally, now we're going to come over here to the one on the bottom. You follow it, you see where it goes here. Not to bore you to death, but that has a 15mm bolt hole. I'm sorry, bolt hole. Head, and then on the back is an 18mm. What you do is you lay the wrench up there and let the wrench get caught on the side of that core support right there and back that 15mm out, and whammo, the bolt will come out with no problems. Do not make this any more difficult than it needs to be. Alright, that will take care of your 5th and final to remove this. However, we still have one major problem. These things, because I want to show you how this is actually put in there. Alright, this bad boy is in there. So here's how I actually did it. I took a bar. So I want to make sure you can actually see this. There we go. You take a pipe and you pull her out. Now this right here made it look easy because I've already done this and made it out. but it's not. And then once you do pop it loose, I want you to watch this in here. This is the first time it's coming out for sure. It's still a pain. Oh, I'm missing the mark. This is what happens when you do stuff like this. So you can see, guys, right off the bat, this is going to be some work. There we go. So I'm trying to get this mother humper out. And the same type of wiggling and jiggling is going to have to happen. Look at that, I'm getting off the mark. In order to get it back in. Meanwhile, nothing but peace and love from the car man. Support your military. I will be up to some crazy stuff here in a minute because I'm putting a new battery in this car as I say goodbye to her. Any questions you have on this? No problem. Hit me up like I said on Facebook. I will be there for you. Nothing, no problem. Also, I should be monetized pretty soon where I'm dropping in links to these products that we're selling or actually showing you how to take off with links on where you can get them cheap. Meanwhile, peace and love. See ya.